I'm the salty one, in Warrnambool, on the Great Ocean Road.
And he joins us live to air right now from his one-bedroom mansion on the hills of... What are you... Braz. Good morning, Braz.
This fella.
This fella.
Jeez. I don't know if I need to growl you or have a laugh with you with all the stuff you've been saying. But anyway, we're here. Good morning.
Good morning, Braz. Sounds like you're in a interesting space right there. Where are you sitting in the gallery right now? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I'd pop up in the gallery. It's not one of those fake, backgrounds. It's actually, it's a bit of an empty shell at the moment, but not too far away from actually putting some artwork up on the walls, and just got a few minor touches to go, and then should be nearly ready to open up, at least by appointment only, just to begin with. But I'm situated on beautiful Wathaurong Country, where I live and work and play, and so the gallery is on Mallet Street, in one of the main streets of Geelong in town. For anyone that knows La Paqueta, it's opposite La Paqueta, so come and grab a feed and then come pop in, and I'll have to get a deal going with the crew across the road, eh?
Watch out, those carbs can hurt. Carbs can get a hold of you. He's trying to go the other way. Hey, when I was watching that video clip, I was just thinking about artists and what canvases they use. Bit of artist language, but your canvas though is an incredible one. It's the sand. I'm sure we have all never taken for granted when you go to the beach and put your feet in the sand, but it all started from that one circle. Can you remember that first moment that a trip down the beach? Obviously, maybe something was going on in your life that you just needed to de-stress or something, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna just throw away the shovel and the spade here. Let's do something a bit different. Can you go back to a moment? Can you pinpoint a moment where you really started to see and have a different relationship with the sand?
Yeah, it was actually, funnily enough, I do remember the actual moment, and it was after I delivered a cultural awareness training session with WorkSafe, of all businesses. So funnily enough, we're now based across the road from WorkSafe. You can see them behind me. But yeah, I was in that session, often in those training sessions through the consultancy business that I work in with my brother-in-law, Ricky. We talk a lot about transgenerational trauma and the effects of that, and particularly from a personal point of view, I like to try and make the content relatable to the participants in the room. And I was talking about my mother being removed and the impacts that had on my sister and I, and not being able to have mum in our life, and moving away to grow up in southwest Victoria on Gunditjmara Country. So that stuff is quite heavy when you're talking about that, and a good way for me to de-stress or just try and fill my cup back up is just to get out on country. And at that particular moment, I was right into drone filming and photography like I am now. So I'll just go down to the beach and get some shots of country. And for me, that's just a nice way of just getting the levels back up and regulating myself and getting my mind and body and spirit back into a good state. So, but I was reflecting on the beach when I was flying the drone there. I was thinking, because we talk a lot about cultural safety. What does cultural safety mean for you? What does it mean for mob when they come into a space? How do they connect? How can they feel safe? How do they know they're going to be treated, with integrity and treated for who they are? And so that got me thinking, well, what does cultural safety mean to me? And I thought, well, I feel the most safest when I'm on the beach, because I'm a saltwater man. So, for you or someone else, it might be, where they're connected to through their family or language group. So on their own country, that's where they might feel the most safest. So yeah, at that particular moment, I decided to draw a circle in the sand, and I sat myself in that circle, and I just thought, this is, and then I drew some U shapes on the outside of that, which represented ancestors and old people. And I thought to myself, yeah, this is where I feel the most safest, strongest. I can just be me. There's no fear or judgment of who I am. And I decided to pop the drone up and have a look, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's one of those little golden moments, isn't it? You're like, that actually looks pretty crazy good. It's a big step from what you're doing now too. You're doing some huge scale stuff. You're doing collaborations, but what was it like? It's a very, as you talk about, it's a very individual process for you, allowing other artists to jump on your art. What was that like? Was there difficulty there?
Yeah, because when I first started, it was actually after I'd popped that image up on Facebook, the very first one that I did, and people were blown away by it. But they were like, "Oh, you should work with, Aboriginal artists that can help you or do something with you." And at that time, I thought, well, that would be great, but an artist that paints or draws cannot necessarily go down to the beach and create sand art.
Yeah, sure.
So I just thought, no, that's cool. I'll just, roll with this for me and myself, because it's something that came to me, and I don't necessarily need to seek advice from anyone else on how to do it. And yeah, one thing led to another. I just got really into it and really enjoyed the process of creating and having that time to go out and ground myself. And it was during the peak, times of COVID as well over the last couple of years. So we weren't allowed to really do much. But yeah, it eventually got to a point where I did my first ever collaboration. That was with young Taryn Love, who's a Gunditjmara woman through the Uncle Ivan Cousins mob down Gunditjmara way. And we were doing a joint exhibition titled Saltwater Healing. And I thought, well, how about for the exhibition we do a collaboration? And the artwork that she collaborated on was the whale dreaming artwork. And that artwork that I created was because of my upbringing on Gunditjmara Country down in southwest Victoria, and the importance of whales to that area and whales to Gunditjmara people. So she painted on that, and it just blew my mind. And I thought, well, let's, this isn't a bad thing after all. I can still have my unique style and talent captured in that, but then someone can bring their stories and what it means to them on top of it.
I'm going to show some artwork here. Whoops, wrong one. That's my Facebook page.
Look out.
Here's some stuff here for the viewers at home that can't flick over to the salty1.com.au. Explain some of the imagery that's happening here.
Yeah, so this artwork is titled Salty Songlines, and that was created down on Wathaurong Country on the Great Ocean Road. And for me, that story represents the connectedness of our mobs along the coastal areas. So that's depicted in the circles, the three main circles, how they're joined together. And then on top of that, you have the symbols that represent people. So salty songlines around people being connected to the ocean and sea country.
We've got some people here that have actually got some of your artwork in their home, which is pretty cool. Lucky enough to have one of the prints at work, and it's amazing. Chrissy Parker says he's got to head off, mate. He's got better things to... No, he doesn't have better things to do. He's got to head off to Bushkinder with the little one, so all the best, Lowy. A lot of people here giving you so much love on the chat room. Did you ever kind of think that it would have this big of an impact and wide reach? I mean, when you think about it, you're almost... You're somehow cutting through the belief that Indigenous people mob only talk about kind of dark stories. Like your artwork's very light. It's very positive. It takes people to the beach. It's just got so much win all over it. Did you think it would have this much impact? And do you think that's why it has so much of an impact, not just to Indigenous people, but non-Indigenous people too?
Yeah. Everyone, I think, loves the beach, so naturally people are drawn to images, of those places, whether it's, people that have lived in those areas or live in those areas or they've grown up in those areas. I think that's where a lot of the connection comes, and also with the storytelling component of what I'm sharing, people often, tell me that, they really connect with the story and what I'm telling within the artwork. There have been some times where, I've wanted to shed some light on some other things that are happening within within this country, particularly for Jan 26. It was not so much an artwork, but I captured a visual and a video of me painted up with red ochre on my face and body, and that was a depiction of, this is what the date represents to me. But in the background, I had some people enjoying the day and having a catch up and a feed on the beach, and so I wanted to show the difference. So on one hand, I can appreciate that people love, the stuff that makes them feel good, but I'm not. I'm still gonna, tell the stories that are important as well in terms of my lived experiences, and whether it is some of that, dark history on wanting to actually create an artwork that represents Aboriginal deaths in custody, because it is such a prominent issue in this country that's ongoing. So there are some things that I wanted to, just push the boundaries with, I guess, and really just open up, my artworks for those conversations for people to learn and take a moment to maybe think about as well.
It's like I said, it's very positive, good feel artwork. Can you let us in on how any things that you're thinking about, how you would incorporate that into your art to show that, I guess, darker side of history? Is it through colouring, or is it symbols, or I just think of blood.
Look, there's so many ways that I could sort of go about it, whether it's including other people into those shots, into the artworks. There's just so many things that I can do with it. So it's sort of just been ticking over in my mind over the past, probably ever since I sort of started, really. But now more so that I'm doing this as a full-time business, which is crazy to think. It's
Congrats, man! Congrats! So good.
So I'm also having to deal with the stresses of wearing all these different business hats, which, for people that run businesses, I take my hat off to them, and I think, there's so much involved in it. It's not just, the pretty stuff of me selling the art. It's building relationships. It's working with corporates. It's working with customers. It's marketing. It's business development. There's so much involved in it. So, and now I decided to, take on my own gallery and make this happen. So I'm excited, but there's a lot that goes into it. So I've also got to be mindful that, I just need to give myself that time and space for creativity and not get caught up in all of this, because, I'm here because of my art, and I need to be able to continue to, do what I do to keep going, I guess.
Someone just wrote there. I just popped it up on screen, and keep the messages coming, folks, on the chat line. It's great. We'll feed them through to Lowy as they come through. Amazing work, Lowell. Your story is so important. Your work is brilliant. As a trainee art therapist, I love combining nature and culture in my sessions. This is a powerful healing process. I spoke earlier about a bucks party, my bucks party, which I hate saying it was going to be a bucks party, because your cultural side of things, it's a very powerful thing that's going on. There's so much more seriousness and intent and authenticity going on than calling it a bucks party activity. But there is availability for people to come in there. Have you ever thought about dabbling into the how do you call it? Well, art therapy, giving clients, or working with NDIS, or because it's really powerful what you're doing for the person that's there on the sand, not just the people that are watching it from their picture, but inviting people down.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I've sort of experimented with and thought about, and there's been a few little things that I've done. You mentioned the St. Joseph Aboriginal high school students. I did a workshop with them late last year. That was amazing, and I'm actually heading back in there today for the first session for the year with the boys.
Oh, wow.
So So that program's still running, Russ. Still keen on working with mob at that level, and particularly our young people, and introducing them or inviting them to learn about culture and art, and particularly ways of connecting in and slowing down the mind and just looking after yourself mentally. I know it's been a big thing for me, and it's a constant thing that I need in my life if I'm, feeling a bit stressed out or there's lots going on in my life and it's maybe even just hard to process things. I always know that I need to get to the beach, if I need to look after myself mentally. So not so much, I guess, looking to deliver specific workshops or set programs for that particular purpose, but, have been always open to opportunities and what might exist in that space, but I don't want to sort of burn myself out either, going out and having to work with the group. It's hard enough just trying to keep the people off the beach on my artwork, let alone other people in there trying to create something unique and special.
There's probably some mystery around how it all forms. I mean, some of these pictures here are dabbling with the ocean, completely destroying your artwork. Tell us about some of the things you have to consider before you start your artwork. Like, what time do you get down there, and are you looking at tides and things? What kind of things do you need to consider?
Yeah, so there's a whole range of things that I need to be mindful of, and the biggest one is
autographs.
The tides. Obviously, you're working by the ocean, and the one that you have in the background, the Bobby Lockyer Collab artwork behind you, you can see that the water is right next to the stand art design. So you can't get much closer than that, and I think I've timed that pretty good. So it is understanding, what's happening with the environment, with country, and reading tide charts, knowing that, okay, if the tide is outgoing and it's, I'm starting on a section of the beach where it's probably 10 metres away, then it might take 3 hours to come up to there before the water is actually going to hit the artwork or wash it away. So I can't work in rainy or windy conditions. My manager won't allow it. No. The drone does not fly in those conditions, so I don't have a manager. Bros, do you want to be my manager or what?
100%. I'm tipping in, mate. I'll ride your crumbs. I'll ride your crumbs, bros. Nah, it's brilliant. It's great to see that you that it's providing a lifestyle for you, but also I wonder if you talk about art therapy. I want to go back to that. My mum got into some art therapy for various reasons, for mental health, and she got quite good at her art, good enough to put on an exhibition, and then she ended up finding that she was going down there and couldn't stop thinking about how good would this one be in an art gallery. Are you starting to get a bit messed up when you go down the beach and maybe people come over to you and distract you and go, you're the dude that does the art? You're like, go away, I'm having like my little feng shui moment over here. Go away. Like, is it almost creeping in? Do you still get your isolated time? Because it's such an important part of your inner self, and it would be really hard to juggle keeping it natural, or do you just kind of sit in there and be quiet?
If I'm going out, particularly to some of the local areas, we are sport for choices on the Surf Coast Great Ocean Road, and if it's not tourist season, you can confidently go out and find a piece of beach that will have no one around, and you can just get lost in the moment, spend a good couple of hours and get creative and do what you need to do. And I really find that I need to be in that zone. Like, as much as I can appreciate, people enjoying the beach and the walks and coming up to having a yak, it sort of just throws you out if you're in that creative zone. So I really, I enjoy having a yarn with people, but other times I really like to just get into that process, because often if I'm there, with ochre on and painting up and having my boomerangs and clapsticks, it is quite a significant and spiritual place that I like to be in. It's just one of those things, you're not always going to have that privacy all the time, but where possible, yeah, it's great to be able to just get in your own creative space and go for it.
I want to have a look at one more piece of art and give us a little explanation about it. I can't put you on screen at the same time, which is annoying. Your voice is going to be booming in the background, but explain this piece. And it's our good friend Jez Black bringing in this one. Two deadly fellas living down in Wathaurong Country here. Can you explain what's going on here?
Yeah, sure. So that's the collaboration artwork over the Sunset Lovers sand artwork image that I created, and that was actually one having some really good relationships with Bunurong people, particularly brother Steve Parker, who I think he was keen to jump on and get into this giveaway, which you unofficially announced yesterday.
He's been asked. He's waiting. He's waiting. We're all waiting.
Yeah. So I
Hey there, bruz. Oh, don't go on us now. Hasn't got oh, there you are. We lost you for a second.
I came across one of the back beaches near Rye, and that it's just incredible.
Can you explain that again? What's Jez's contribution here? So he's got the white paint. Is that right?
So what I do with the collaborations is I will get a large canvas printed out. So in this case, this was 2.4 meters by 1.4 meters, and I'll then hand that over to the artist, and they unroll it. Then in this case, Jez spent 50 hours painting what he's painted there. So the depiction of Bunjil and other elements in the water and coming off Bunjil's tail.
Wow.
So he's painted that, and then what happens is I get that back, and then it's either scanned or photographed in. Then we get the original artwork stretched and framed up. A couple in Perth actually purchased that. It was a neurosurgeon, I believe, over in Perth. Who
makes sense.
Thought I'd want to have that in my office, so he did. And which is crazy. Like, people over in Perth are just jumping on Instagram and thinking, I wouldn't mind having that in my home or office. So that collab was that actually went that sold out pretty quick. So we launched it on a Thursday night, and it was around 8 p.m. And so the idea is we have 50 limited edition prints. I had 25 on my website. Jez had 25 on his. I sold my 25 within an hour and 15 minutes.
That is nuts. That is so nuts.
That was, you can see the work like that. Jez's artwork in that was just next level. It blew me away when he said, "Hey, Bruce, I can see Bunjil in this and I think it's really going to work." And I said, "Wow, all right, let's go." And what he created, it just obviously connected with so many people.
Yeah.
People just really loved it. And for that reason, it was a hit.
It's incredible. I love it. Who's on your collab radar?
I just actually had. I've been yarning with a brother. Is Gunditjmara and Yorta fella. You might know him, Tommy Day.
I know the Day family. I don't know Tommy Day.
Yeah, so he's a deadly artist, and we've been yarning. So that is. Potentially on the radar, and I've actually working with a company that wants to, as boring as it sometimes sounds, they're after a new artwork for a rap document, but it's not just going to be, I'm really conscious of not just having my art just sitting on a document and then that's it. I want to actually bring life and energy to my work, and for them to be able to share that story in different mediums and not just on the header of a rap document or something like that. So I just proposed to them. I said, look, it'd be great if we could capture the whole story. So, have someone video me from going to this area, filming, and then having that whole video as a part of the storytelling. But a company has engaged me to work back home on my country in the Kimberleys. Which is going to be huge. I haven't done that before, so And then on top of that, I'm going to be working with Bobby again, Bobby Lockyer, with the collaboration you see in the back. And she's going to do an overlay because we're both Nyul Nyul from the same language group. So, you know, for us to be both working on something on country at home will be pretty special.
Is the Kimberleys going to be on water, or on sand, or are you going to come in and do something more on dust?
No, so it'll be on sea country. Yeah.
Ever considered
But
doing something? Yeah.
I know a lot of people have been really keen to, you know, see my work back in the Kimberleys just because of, I guess, the scenery and, you know, it's as much as I love the Victorian coastline and what it has to offer. It's just obviously so different as you travel around Australia. You know, there's different colours that come out, particularly in the Kimberleys. You have the red cliffs, the pindan, the red dirt. You've got the white sand, or, you know, the lighter coloured sand, and then you've got that turquoise water. So, yeah, I'm really keen to potentially head up there and get creative as well.
Tell us about your art exhibition, man. Your art exhibition, your art gallery.
It'll be a permanent exhibition.
Looks pretty permanent, Braz.
Yeah, look, it's you know, just moving in and getting
look at that
stuff sorted.
First things first, FPOS machine. Look at him go.
Hey, that's
mate. What, $50 entry? What are you running these days?
What are you willing to pay, Russ?
Just for that picture, $50 entry to look at that picture. This is a farce.
No, this is
what a spot.
Yeah. I've just got the art hanging system installed yesterday.
Yep.
Scotty Pickett, thanks Scotty Pickett from Frame Lines. So he's installed that, and now I can start hanging the art on the walls.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So look, it's been a big goal of mine to eventually get my own space, and I think growing up as a young fella, you probably never have these things on your radar, but as you get a bit older, it's like, yeah, well, you know, you get into a position where you can maybe take that risk and give it a go. And I don't like to die wondering, you know. I don't like to go to sleep at night thinking, oh, should I, shouldn't I? Let's just give it a go and see if it works, and if it doesn't, oh well.
It's great, man. I mean, it's a credit to you. It hasn't come just overnight, although it has come quick. But I think it's a valid growth, and you've got so much stories and culture to share with people. So it's not just a little. This is just a little feather on the cap, really, for your career, I think. And when are you opening? When do we get access?
Look, realistically, I think I'd like to be open about 2-3 weeks, maybe late August.
Wonderful.
Being mindful, though, it's probably going to be just by appointment only, just to start with, because I don't want to be fixed in here, 9 to 5 and not have any time to get out. But also heading over to the New York Fashion Week in September with Bobby, who's got
I thought you were pointing at me then.
A fashion show happening there, and she asked me to be involved, and I just said, look, I'd love to come, sis, but I can't just, come and watch a fashion show. I don't think I'm going to get that one across the line at home. I've got to be involved. So how can I be involved? And she said, look, how about we have your imagery, your art, your sand art, combined with my art.
What?
You sort of see on the clothing, on the runway, so people are going to be wearing our art, on the runway.
Excuse my ignorance. New York Fashion Week, is this one of the biggest fashion weeks of the calendar?
And excuse my ignorance. Yeah, I think it is.
Is it? It's big time, isn't it? It's big time.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I'm not really into all of that stuff, but from what I've read and what I've been hearing about, it's pretty significant. So
that's unreal. Has it gone international before? Have you reached? Do you know what your reach is? Have you had some people from weird places of the world going, man, love it? You're like, how the heck do you know about me?
Yeah. So a lot of those people. So I've sent orders out to Austria, Germany, England, over to the US. But I find that the majority of those people are Australians living overseas and want a piece of home in their homes away. So, but yeah, sometimes some randoms, internationals that are like, I just love your stuff and I want it in my home. So
off it goes. Off it goes. Wonderful, Lowy. Thanks for joining us for an extended time. 8:20. I know you probably got a line out the door already, waiting to get in. And so what? So this giveaway. What? I won't throw you under the bus. There's no giveaway. I was only pulling your leg. No way.
You're going to get a mass exodus from followers now.
I was trying to think of a way to promote people to listen.
Well, they should be listening anyway, shouldn't they?
I know. You've donated your time, and that's plenty enough. You're very rich in generosity. Nah, Braz,
look, I would like to do something for it. I mean, let's just say I'll organise a giveaway soon through my Instagram, and those of you that have been listening and watching, come over and at least there's something there. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Hey, follow it's the Salty One on Instagram, the Salty One on Facebook. Head over to salty1.com.au. That's the website that I was just promoting then and going through all the artwork. There's plenty of artwork to look through. You do prints, you do commissions, you got some stuff there, collabs coming up. A lot of the invites and stuff to getting an intro to some of the artworks are all done on Instagram. So make sure you give Lowy a follow so you know when he's gone live. A pleasure talking to you, Braz. Congratulations on what you get the giveaway down there. Did you reach down for the giveaway? On your phone.
I was going to take a photo.
Oh, go on, get a photo. Yeah, deadly, Braz. Man, you're a legend. I'm loving your journey. I was chatting with Chrissy Parker last night. We were just so excited and thrilled, and we're riding your curtails, that's for sure. You're leading the way, man, in this space, and congratulations on your new space coming up, and congratulations also for being recognised nationally at the National NAIDOC Awards. It's an incredible achievement. A lot of good artists are in that collection, and but you're a deserved winner, man.
Thank you, brother. And also, right back at you, you put a lot of time and energy into producing what you do here, and I value it, and I love everything that you do. So I love to be able to always come on and have a yarn.
Love it, Braz. Hey, what are we going to play? Got any music? What kind of music? What are you going to put on in your iPod first thing?
I'll tell you what.
Who you got? Give us some new stuff.
Quickly get it.
Why are you having
new Baker Boys song?
Oh, the Bernard Fanaway?
Yeah.
How good is it?
Oh, I've been killing it on there.
It's so good. It's so good. Braz, thanks for joining us. Stick around. We'll play the song.
All right, brother. Thanks.